I am still looking for the right rhythm of when I'm going to be going live on YouTube. And so I wanted to come today to talk about what's been going on and make a few announcements. I did announce this actually, I think last week, but I'm going to continue the announcing, sharing more information. Um, so, if you're new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. If you are a returning watcher, I'm so grateful that you would stop by and learn a little bit about what's going on in the world of us full time slow travelers and sabbatical lifestyle people. Soon, I will be interviewing some folks that are also in between sabbaticals. And I think it's important because as I am completing, I guess, my first year, my third 3+ month sabbatical, I feel like I'm ready to sort of document what I'm learning and share that with other people who are traveling along a similar path so that perhaps we can learn from each other in community and do better. As my favorite business coach says, be better than me. Don't be like me, be better than me. So I'm in Chicago. I've been in Chicago for a little over a week. I've been back in the US now for 6 weeks, and I'm 3 weeks from my next departure. So I wanted to share with you something I've been working on. And actually, this is going to be a very short live stream. The reason for this is really to share with you guys that the book that I have been working on since I got back is now out in ebook form on Amazon. So I'm going to share my screen, and this is not something I normally do during lives. So let's see. So the first thing I'm going to share with you is the actual Amazon listing, which I'm really proud of. Just as I tell you a little bit about this book, I think I'm still showing up so that you can see me. So the name of the book is Celebrate the Light You Bring, Affirmations to Teach with Joy, Power, and Purpose. I can't remember really if I told you that this book was really a dedication to the life of my mom and women like her, Black women like her, in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s that were teaching in New York City public schools. Today it's not really cool to say. I'm sorry, I'm making some tea while I talk so that my throat doesn't decide it doesn't want to participate. They were just the unsung heroes of the people who benefited from public education in urban schools at the time. They worked tirelessly and gave more money than really, when you consider how much money they had to give financially to be able to do their jobs in the school system at that time, and I think this is still probably true, they didn't make hardly any money, truth be told. But that being said, she loved what she did and she was really committed. And my mother also, to be honest with you, struggled with depression. And she mitigated that depression with a lot of unhealthy habits. And as a result, she died way too young. She died in her late 60s. And I'm actually sharing this sort of like as a positive, like a celebration of the light that I know that she brought to her students and her school. My mother's name was Carolyn Harris. And so the book is dedicated to her and teachers like her who were the unsung heroes of education. As many of you all know, I retired from teaching 18 years in public higher education. And I, similarly to my mother and her generation of educators, we worked entirely too hard, carried too many hats, too many hours, and the mental and physical toll from this type of chronic stress over 20 years. My mother actually made 26 years in the New York City public school system. It's just not sustainable. It's not healthy. I lost my mom and my grandmother to a heart attack at very young. I felt like I was a very young age. And I just didn't want to do that to my children. So that's how my journey started. And if you are a person, whether you're an educator or not, but it really resonates with you, that you should like scale back and redefine what it is that you need to be doing with your life in this next season. If you're over 40, over 50, in my case, I was 58 when I retired early, but I decided to retire at 56, I guess. But I think it was like too little too late, honestly, because I've been retired a whole year and I'm still really coming to grips with all of the things that I need to heal from that happened during those 18 years. So, this book, I'm super proud of it. It is a collection of illustrated affirmations. And I'm not going to read what's here, but I just really wanted to share with you what was going on. So, let's see, how do I stop sharing? There we go. So, I'm going to stop sharing, and I actually have the link. I think I have the link. I do have the link. I have the link. I have the link. Okay, let me put it this way. I created the links to be able to share with you all, but you all know that I'm still really trying to figure out. Here we go. So, this is the link that will take you to the page that I just showed you on Amazon to purchase the e-copy of the book. It's currently available for $9.99. It's not a part of the program that you get unlimited, like you pay a monthly fee, and that's something that you can choose to do for 3 months at a time. And after the holidays, it may be a part of that program. So if you are in that program, you can just wait till the next quarter to be a part of it. But I really wanted the book to have a chance to grow and develop a following on its own without restricting it to a specific community. I myself had a lot of Amazon subscriptions that I unsubscribed from. So I do occasionally still purchase things on Amazon, but because I'm not paying a monthly fee, I don't feel obligated to give them money every month. So do what you need to do. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is there will be a soft back cover edition of the book that will be released in the next month or so. I am still learning how to self-publish books, and so there were some things I needed to do for the soft cover edition that I didn't know how to do, so it's taken me a little longer. Plus, I've been in Chicago, so therefore I am, a little bit distracted with all the things that I need to do here. So right now, the release for the soft cover edition is scheduled for December 1st. And there will be a pre-sale campaign, which I will share with you all about it. So my idea was getting the book done would be that it could be a gift for people who would be shopping for teachers in their family, for themselves, and for people that they know that work with them in schools. So the book is also dedicated to women of color. It has a lot of pictures of women, and there's a few pictures of men, but women of all colors and backgrounds. And I think that part of it was one of the things that was most enjoyable for me. So I anticipate doing more types of affirmation books that are illustrated. I might do one that is more, I'm not going to think of the name of it, watercolor instead of photographs, watercolor. I also am interested in perhaps doing an affirmation book that includes stories of real live teachers down the road, like next year, this time. I am going to move on to publishing some different things for now once these projects are done. But I had envisioned a hardback 8x8 gift book, and I don't think that's going to be feasible for this edition, but in a future edition, that's definitely something I'm going to put on the table because I myself feel like that's the type of thing that I would appreciate getting as a gift if I was still an educator. So if you're new here, you probably also don't know that I have been preparing for a trip to Southeast Asia. And as I do that planning in these initial stages, I'm now like 3 weeks in. I want to do a countdown on YouTube and maybe also on TikTok. I'm not sure, I'm new on TikTok. That talks about what I'm doing every day to prepare. December 2nd is my departure day. So that's something I'm still trying to figure out if I have the capacity and the bandwidth to do. So stay tuned for news of that as well. I do want to tell you that I have a Substack. I think here is the link to join me on Substack, and I actually can also share with you the page. I have an article I'm working on right now. I started it yesterday that I'm also super proud of. It's a bit of a heavy emotional lift compared to, there we go, here's my Substack. What I normally write about on Substack, and I've actually only been on Substack for like 3 months. So this is the last one that I published. It was a poem for teachers. So teachers have been on my mind mostly this quarter. And then here are some of the other things that I've already posted. I've actually done more than I thought. One, two, three, four, five. Okay, not bad, not bad for 3 months work. Yeah, my rhythm on Substack when I'm not traveling is going to be weekly. When I am traveling, it's going to be every 2 to 3 weeks. But I also try to post notes, just short messages and thoughts from at least 2 or 3 times a week, also through my Substack. So that's a great place to follow me, for me to have your email and be able to like push information out to you that is related to what I'm doing on YouTube. So that is what's going on with how you can stay in touch with me. Okay, something, it said picture in picture was closed. Anyway, sorry about that. That was a error message, I guess, from my platform. It says I have a chat. Okay, let's see who's. Somebody said, "Hi, Dr. Crystal. Hey, how are you? This is my pop-up live. I was supposed to do a live last night, and yeah, just couldn't. Yeah. So in the only other thing I guess that I really want to share is I'm still working on my online course, Sabbatical Secrets, which was supposed to also be chronicling what I was doing. But what I realized is that I really wanted to do that workshop and that course when I was in a stable location, and I'm actually not going to be in a stable location. Some of you who are entrepreneurs or online entrepreneurs, sometimes that's just a I don't know, an excuse. But when you read or have a chance to see what's going on with my most recent Substack, I think it'll be done by Friday or Saturday. You will see what it is that sort of derailed me from that original path. So I don't know if it's going to be called Savvy Sabbatical Secrets or Secrets of the Savvy Sabbatical Traveler, but I like an alliteration with S's. So that's what the online course is called. And it's basically going to be a documentation of the process that I use now and a little bit of what I think the process will be going forward for people who want to do 3 to 6 month sabbaticals. Kind of like, I was looking for a way of saying sabbatical on a budget, because I think a lot of people really need a sabbatical right now. Not, I know that if I hadn't left, I could probably not survive what I'm hearing and seeing and experiencing back in the U.S. Junquette says, "We do what we can. So glad I was able to catch a live." Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I was in my spirit. If I'm honest, I was scheduled to be a guest on a podcast, and after I did my hair and my makeup, I found out I missed a message that they wanted to reschedule it tomorrow. I was like, well, I don't really ever put on lipstick and makeup, so here we go. We're going to do a live. So join me on Substack. If you are a reader, some of the pieces are longer, but you can skim or read what you want. There's also a feature on Substack. I don't know how it works, where you can, like an audiobook, you can have the article read to you. So I'm going to check into that. Well, okay. So how do I stop? Okay, I'm trying to stop the screen share. Oh, here we go. Stop sharing. Yeah, I wanted you to know about it, but like you got it. So I want to talk about why I titled this. I haven't titled it yet because this was a pop-up live. So this is really now that I'm getting on. So the announcements are over. It's like at church. So now we're, not that this is a sermon, but the talk is really about emotional attunement in a season of grief. And I want to say that I knew that coming back to the U.S., I was in Mexico for 3 months, was going to be tough. Even though I was coming back for technically very joyous occasions, I knew that being back in the US while the government was shut down, while there was so much going on in terms of our undocumented brothers and sisters in urban cities. I live between Chicago and Atlanta. Technically, I live in Atlanta, but even when I'm in the US, I find a way to be in Chicago for a week to 2 weeks at a time. And it's honestly been much harder than I thought about. So that's not really like something I can cover appropriately in a live or even in a recording video. Maybe a year from now, looking back on this, I will, because honestly, I don't want to start crying. But I am going to talk about it in the article, and I'm going to talk about it in a way that I think the call to action will be helpful and perhaps even inspiring. I think this season in our nation's history calls for all of us, those of us who are traveling who don't really stay in the US full time, as well as those of us that are in the US full time, dreaming of leaving, and those of us that are in the US full time. for a variety of reasons that no, we will not be able to leave soon. And I have a heavy heart, honestly, for all three groups of people. I have two adult children that I love dearly, and honestly, it breaks my heart sometimes that I'm traveling and I'm not able to be like a part of their daily lives, even though they're well, old enough to not need me around on a daily life, to be a part of their daily lives. But being here is also not really good for my emotional health. So it's not good for my physical health. It's not good for my eating habits. It's not good for my physical habits. Honestly, when you go to other countries where the food is fresher, where it's more affordable, so therefore you're not stressed out about spending money, the lifestyle is more walkable. There are places where I've lived that have been highly walkable here in Chicago, especially, but that's about it. There are some things there are some trade-offs, I guess I should say, that you make. And I think that is part of being a full-time traveler and a person who's embracing a sabbatical life, is that you got to be honest with yourself on when those trade-offs are working and how you can mitigate the effect or the losses or the pain of those trade-offs. And so I learned something new called, uh-oh, I just lost my light. I guess I was supposed to charge that. So I don't know if you could still see. Yeah, something happened here. Um, hmm, interesting. Am I live streaming still? I don't know what happened. Visual effects are unavailable. Okay, sorry about that. Another disruption. Um, I'm sorry about that. So basically, okay. I can't tell if I'm recording or not. I'm sorry. I keep getting these messages. Okay, so it looks like I'm recording again, and it's not allowing me to go back. And I had the background kind of unblurry, so I'm not sure how well you're seeing me or not. But anyway, so I'm in an Airbnb, and this little corner area is not that pleasant to look at. So I guess I could just change here. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll just change it a little bit. Um, so okay, so I'm talking about grief. So if my grandmother was here, she would say, "Look at Satan, always trying to disrupt what you're trying to do." But yeah, I think this is a really important message, and it's a very serious message. And I apologize for the interruption in the recording, and this is probably a new recording, so you don't even know what I'm talking about. So let me go back and just kind of start over and make this part make sense. So my name is Dr. Crystal. Thank you for stopping by. I wanted to let you know that I am here doing an unplanned impromptu live stream. And the reason I'm doing this live stream is because I've had a very, I don't know, intense emotional reawakening, you might say. Being in the United States is always tough for me. When I came back before from Europe a year ago, from Western Europe, those 2 months were really, really challenging. And the time that I came back from Central America, I think it was in June, it was not as difficult, but it was also a very brief visit. It was like 12 days. And this time when I came back from Mexico, I came back for 3 months. So I think part of the pattern of being a full-time slow traveler is signing up for understanding that there's going to be a certain amount of emotional heaviness in the coming and the going. I happen to be a person who loves people, who loves my people. I never meet a stranger. And when I do meet people, I find myself often connecting with them in a way that is really hard to explain in the physical and in the natural. But I am a person of faith, and I do believe that the Holy Spirit often leads and guides me to the types of situations that I'm supposed to be in when I'm supposed to be in them. So, this idea of emotional attunement is something I got from an MDiv student at Garrett called Modofo. She used the term, I'm not sure where she learned it from, but it's basically this idea of having an awareness of our emotions and how do we use these emotions to really be, she was talking about it in the terms of being spiritually hospitable and being able to hold tension and be in that safe space to be present, not just for others, but for yourself. And so that's the season that I'm in, is that I'm acknowledging that what I'm really experiencing is grief over the Chicago as I knew it, over the United States as I have, come to know it. I would say that I was a leader in my field, in my institution, and I stood before so many hundreds of students for 18 years talking about an America that really, I'm not sure if it exists anymore. And so, in some ways, it's the realization of maybe the death of a dream, but I'm also beginning to have seeds of a new dream of like, how do we take what's going on now and salvage ourselves and thrive in spite of and bloom anyway. So that's sort of the season that I'm in. And one of the reasons why I feel really committed to do two things with this channel going forward, besides the article that's coming out on Substack, I'm really going to be intentional about also interviewing in this channel educators who are making sense and making meaning and finding purpose in this new call to action we have to, participate in the saving of America and the saving of democracy, and the saving of compassion and the saving of kindness and the saving of humanity in this world where it seems like people have just given up on all the basics. And also educating sabbatical travelers who are navigating the back and the forth, or people who are slow travelers. There's a lot of people creating content for people to just, move abroad. And I am an active community member in Exodus Summit. I don't particularly see myself selecting a country or a city and I don't know why I can't talk, and putting down roots at this particular juncture. But I do see that I will probably end this season with another home outside the US, maybe in 3 to 5 years, where I would have a life where I would go back and forth. I could see that happening. Am I doing anything to make that happen? Not at all. I spent, 50 plus years in the US, 40 of which I talked about traveling, never went anywhere. So I feel like I have too much to make up for in lost time. So that's really what I meant by saying a season of grief. I see there's a couple more comments, so let me go here. I still see you. You're good. Are we sure it actually existed? I've been having similar feelings of grief. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm actually going to stop here now. It says that I've been live for 22 minutes. On this end, a lot went down. There was a break, so I don't know if when I look at it on YouTube, it's going to look the same. But I thank you for joining me. And when you come back, please put in the comments how you're handling your emotions. Are you calling what you feel grief? And if you're not calling it grief, what are you calling it? And what does it mean to you to be attuned to your emotions in this season, whether it's sad, anger, rage, whatever it is? How are you naming it and how are you taking care of yourself? So this is something, like I said, I came back for my 25th reunion from seminary. I have a master's in pastoral care and counseling. I'm in the class of 2000. And I spent 3 days at Garrett Evangelical Theological Seminary on Northwestern's campus with the class of 1975, which I thoroughly loved the people who were there from that class. They were really special and did a lot to really help me keep my mind right. And a lot of the young people who were there, who were between, their mid to late 20s, that were students. It was just a beautiful, beautiful experience. A sad and emotionally heavy season, but great to have that beautiful opportunity to reflect. And so if you're interested in learning more, I'm probably not going to talk about my Garrett experience too much on this channel, but the article that I'm doing on Substack about emotional attunement and grief, it's going to talk very specifically about some of the best parts of the reunion. And I think I'm going to leave it here today. I would love it if you join me on Substack. I'm just going to put the link here. Oh, before I forget, two things. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're not. If you know other people who are struggling with grief or sadness in this season of American history, feel free to share this video with them or direct them to my Substack. And then I also want to put the link again. So this is a link where if you click on it, it will shake you to that page that I showed you earlier in the video for Substack, and you can join as a free member. I do now have a paid tier. I think it's $5 a month. So if you'd like to support the channels, actually, that's the only thing I'm doing that's paid right now is the Substack subscriber. So then that's an option, monthly or annually. And but just continuing to come and watch and comment means the world to me. I'm so honored to have this platform and to be able to use it to inspire and empower people, or just mitigate the grief. So thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye bye.